It is with great pleasure and respect that I welcome our most venerable members of the Mahasangha and our friends who have joined here to appreciate the great personality who has been a very special friend of Sri Lanka Buddhist Monastery throughout the last 33 years. First and foremost, we reverently welcome our President and the Chief Incumbent, the most venerable Vattayama Dhammawasanayaka Thero, the Cardinal Monk of Australia and the Cardinal Monk of Central Province of Sri Lanka for the Udana Amarpura set. Also,
today we are seated here for a very special purpose, that is to truly honor a person stepping down from a noble position that he held as Honorary Consul of Sri Lanka, our motherland, for 33 years in this state of Queensland. Though it was an honorary position, the role of a consul representing a nation is great big responsibility. In other words, he was our ambassador and diplomat. In Queensland, he represented Sri Lanka in all international matters in Queensland, helped the Sri Lankan community as intermediate person to link with our embassy for away from Queensland. In addition to all his employment work and family affairs, he had give time to meet the Sri Lankans to get their work done, mostly for certifying documents. To do this, he had to sacrifice mostly his weekends. There are several Sri Lankan associations in Queensland, attended all their meetings and event invitation. He was already the Consul of the state when I arrived in Australia in 1993. I remember I met him first time 1994 February, Independence Day, February 4th, of very small temple at the Forest Lake. I recall his first visit to that temple. Thereafter, as we grow gradually to this present level, he would have visited us over 100 times for various functions we held, though he does not carry the label as a Buddhist. His qualities and principles are of Buddhism. Very often, he participated in events with his wife. We admire her simplicity and the role as a mother in raising poor children. In life, as we grow older, we are bound to change our activities. We change from infant to child, and then youth, and there comes a time to hand over our responsibilities to the next generation and relax, rest, and enjoy life. I have to mention something very special of him today. When he spoke at meetings, he said very often that I am proud to call myself a Sri Lankan. I am truly a Sri Lankan. He was sometimes very emotional, and when he said so, tears filled his eyes. That displayed the true love he had for motherland.
And warm demeanor reflects his eagerness to engage in conversation, regardless of who you are or what you are. In his youth, he was a brilliant swimmer, a talented boxer, and an enthusiastic rugby player. Born in 1948 in Sri Lanka, he swam across the Pork Strait from northern tip of Sri Lanka to the southern tip of India.
Because he had his business on a side. So at the same time, there were no ships going to Sri Lanka. The Sri Lankan government didn't have money to clear the ships. So luckily we had a shipping line, and so I spoke to Anton, and we agreed, okay, on a Sunday, so in the morning, we were there to load the beds. But we had an unfortunate situation, the forklift truck was not working.
From that evening. I remember, it didn't take me long. I clearly remember leaving that day thinking, what a perfect gentleman. In the last 10 years or so, I have gotten to know you a lot better through the work I do in the Sri Lankan community. Anton has been the president of the Society of Queensland from 1986 to 88. Highlight of this
or attachment will lead to suffering. But every one of us still keep attaching. So that's a reality. Why I'm telling you all of these things? When reflecting at Anton's,
now I don't know. I'm on the sports side, so everything has been said. But when you look at Anton, you know he can box you out, he can swim you out, but you know, that's where he has been in water polo, and he has been a lifesaver in Sri Lanka, and at least he's here with us and saving our lives.
Over such a long period. It was always very warm and welcoming when I come here. I feel that I'm back home when I come and visit this temple on many occasions, as been mentioned before. I actually feel very humbled by listening to most of the speakers, what they have to say about me. But I've always been, as the Venerable Theodore said, proud to be a Sri Lankan. Even, I always find it very difficult to convince people, even to the Sri Lankans, that I'm Sri Lankan. But when I start, my wife always says when I go to Sri Lanka, don't speak in Sinhalese, please. Because especially if I'm in a tuk-tuk, the driver goes off the road and says, "Nemate Sinhala katana පුළුවන්." And when we go to the shops, my wife likes shopping. When I start talking to them in Sinhalese, and of course doing bargain with the price, the shopkeeper says, मैं आपके मारते हैं सिंगल and he's introduced me to all the other shops and he wants me to speak to them in Sinhalese. So I do have very fond memories, and some of the stories that have been mentioned about me, I know, thank you Dr. Sandara for being the MC this evening. And he's always been pestering me, you know, I get all these text messages, you know, can you tell me some information about yourself? But that record, that 6-mile sea swim, why I still hold the record, you don't know the story behind it. I won the 6-mile sea swim, I think in 66, 67. Then I held the record for 3 years, swimming from Montlemillier to Golface, the back of the Golface Hotel. 3 years later, they changed the course. They started the swim from the King Ross Swimming Club in Willowald to Montlemillier and back. That's the reason why I still hold the record. So, I think that will be a lifelong record, you know, so that's the reason why. And also that swim, that box race swim, I swam from Darwin to Narashkodi, not from Colombo. Colombo is much further. So, just to correct a few things there, and but my upbringing has been a very simple life. My parents separated when I was 2 years old, so I never had a home, actual home of myself. So I lived with families, from one family to another, because my father was very sort of a friendly type of person. He had a lot of friends. So I used to move from family to family. I remember, this is a personal side of things of me, when I lived with a family with 11 children. So I don't know if you remember that when you sit down to eat dinner, we used to all, the kids used to all sit on the floor, and there was this big rice and curry and everything. So mom used to feed, not my mom, but the mom of the children used to feed everybody. I used to be the 12th person. So I always wondered, am I going to get a pot of rice and curry, being the 12th person? And saying that we're always waiting for seconds too, you know, so, but that's my upbringing, and that's the reason why I'm always involved in the community. I mean, listening to some of the speakers here, I'm just a normal person, as Sunil was saying, that if anybody calls me Sir, Your Excellency, or Mr. Swan, you know, they just stop calling me Anton. But the important thing, I was recently at a function where the Consul General, the new Consul General from China, he heard about me retiring. I suppose I will never retire, I'll still be a part of the community, Sri Lankan community. He said, what can you tell me that they will still be coming to Queensland as the Consul General for China? I said, there's two things. The important thing, it is a great honor to represent your country of birth. And the other thing is to be part of the Sri Lankan community, of your community. You got to help them whenever you can, because I have many VIPs come to Brisbane, which I have recorded them with the protocol sort of duties. And they always, some of them have told me, Anton, why are you, at a function, you lift a broom and start sweeping, you got to keep your status. I said, what status? We're all humans, we are all equals in my world anyway. So he said, no, you got to, in your position, you got to keep your position. I said, well, you all come and go. I live with the community. So there's two different things, So on that note, I'd like to thank again the Venerable Theodore for his friendship over the years, your leadership, and you can see from humble beginnings what we got now. And all of you here, I'm sure during the years that I have played a certain part in connection with all of you. So thank you for being here for such a cold morning. I was at the airport this morning at 1 o'clock picking a person from Melbourne. But saying that, thank you for your presence here and thank you for your support. And as some of the speakers said, I've always been here to support the Sri Lankan community and help them in any way. Thank you very much.
Good news is that community service, he won't be able to sleep. He has.
And also, we also must appreciate when you got involved in all the cultural.
Your humility for the things you've done for us, for the community, for the people. All I got to say is thank you, my friend. Thank you.
He supported, we proudly march past with other people, and he always participated and finally took a photo. That's our celebration end at the day. And also I want to let you guys, that Anton is a very generous support to Sri Lankan people, and also last time we have some fundraise, for the Sri Lankan students, who are students, and very recently he donated $1,000 for them. He understands we have a shortage some funds, and that kind of very great helpful to the Sri Lankan society, not only verbal.
And before the vote of thanks, I would like to summarize the thing, the task done today with a point. Tribute to Mr. Anton. You registered the longest service of a consul in Australia, giving 33 years of your life serving the Sri Lankans in Queensland. To the extent of receiving the honour OAM from the Governor of Australia. You represented Sri Lanka with honour, worked diligently with no favourites, political bias or racial discrimination, gave your time wholeheartedly to the people you served. Noble was your mission, for it was honorary. Just to mention the values of your tasks, sir, 9 Sri Lankan ambassadors came to Canberra since 1990. You commenced as consul.
First and foremost, I must mention our deep sense of appreciation and gratitude to our Nayaka, Sri Lanka Buddhist Monastery Chief Incumbent, Most Venerable Bhattegama Dhammavasa Nayaka Thero, for his continuous guidance and support given for organizing this event today.
මට කියන්න බලන්න මේ ඇන්ටන් සෝන් මහත්මයා ගැන ඔබේ අදහස්.
මම ඇන්ටන් සෝන් මහත්තයාව අඳුනනවා පසුගිය අවුරුදු 40 ඉඳන්ම. මට පේන්නේ මේ මහත්තයා හරිම නිහතමානී.
සෝන් මහත්මයා ගැන අදහස් මොකක්ද ඔබේ?
එයා බොහොම හොඳ, බොහොම කැපවීමකින් වැඩ කරපු කෙනෙක්. අවුරුදු 33ක්. ඉතින් අපි බොහොම සන්තෝෂයි ඒ වගේ මහත්මයෙක් එක්ක අපිට සම්බන්ධ වුණ එක ගැන. මම එයාට ගොඩක් සුළු පතනවා. එයාගේ රිටයර්මන්ට් එක බොහොම හොඳින් කියන්න කියලා.
ඇන්ටන් සෝන් මහත්මයා ගැන අදහසක් කියන්න.
ඇන්ටන් සෝන් මහත්මයා ඉතා හොඳ මහත්මයෙක්. ලොකු සේවයක් කරලා තියෙනවා. ගොඩාක් උදව් කරලා තියෙනවා අපිට ශ්‍රී ලංකන් කමියුනිටි එකට. ඉතින් අපි ගොඩක් ඒ සේවය අගය කරනවා.
ඇන්ටන් සෝන් මහත්මයා කියන්නේ හරීම නිහතමානී අවංක පුද්ගලයෙක්. ශ්‍රී ලංකන් කමියුනිටි එකට හරි ආදරෙයි. ඒ ආදරය මේ මනුස්සයාගේ හැම වචනයකම හැම ක්‍රියාවකම තියෙනවා.